Bruins say that there were new revelations which led to the rescinding of that signing. Although, I mean, Gary Bettman said you can't sign the guy. He's not eligible to play in the NHL.
So is he suspended then from the NHL? Or just maybe because...
I don't know.
All right.
I mean, that's also a Pandora's box for Gary Bettman, not speaking of this specific incident. But, I mean, you're going to go back through everybody's 8th grade when they enter the NHL in order to get them employment?
Yeah.
I mean, if I had video cameras following me around when I was in the 8th grade, you'd probably see me alone a lot. But, I mean, I probably said dumb things on a very consistent basis, and I'm not comparing that. But it's an awful situation, and the reason I bring up Don Sweeney is because this is on the organization. It is a organization massive failure from top to bottom that you allowed not only the thought to sign him, then you sign him, then you leave your players alone, as Courtney alluded to, up in Toronto to deal with this. It's awful. The whole situation is such an avoidable situation where it's a cost-benefit analysis. At best, this guy's maybe helping you in a couple years, and at worst, he's totally derailing a great season.
And anybody that says, like, oh, we all made mistakes in middle school, I agree. Like, I wasn't perfect. Nobody's perfect. But we're talking about multiple years of this kid going after people. Like, that is the teammate's mom called him a monster for 8 years. Mm-hmm. And I'm sorry. I think when you're in middle school, yeah, you could see people and they change. You see people when you're in your 30s and you're like, oh, you're completely different than what you were in middle school. There are also people you see in middle school, you know they're a bad person, and they end up being a bad person.
So from the time that he's 8 years or
8 years old,
7 years old, because you said for 8 years. So if it went up till he was 14, so from the time he was 6 years old, he's harassing people and being a bully. Now instantly...
Not harassing, assaulting.
Assaulting. All right, beating kids up as a bully wants to beat kids up. Now he's 14. He gets in trouble for it. And now he's 20 years old, 7 years later, or almost 21. 7 years later, he atoned for his sins. He realized he made a mistake. He was convicted. He dealt with the punishment. He's changed his behavior. And now he's living in a lifestyle that... Unless he did something like last year or something like that, he's now living in a lifestyle where he's going, I'm trying to be a productive person in society. I'm trying to take my wrongs and then make them rights and help out people. And I deserve the opportunity to play.
Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Would you have given Jeffrey Dahmer a second chance?
Yeah, that's the extreme, bro. That is the extreme. People sit here, listen, you know who got a second chance, and we sit here and we applaud him, and he does a lot of work, but there are still people, I understand they're still upset with him, is Mark Wahlberg. People make mistakes when they're younger, when they're 14, and they do things for a lot of years. My point is this. Everybody deserves a second chance as long as they're proven, like even Bergeron said it, that you're doing the right things and you're making the right steps.
But see, what Patrice Bergeron said is that this particular signing, this particular player, does not fit the culture of the Boston Bruins.
Right.
Loud clap on that. So if that's what Patrice Bergeron says, then I'm going to go Patrice says. Yeah. Like I say, Boomer says and Dante says.
But Greg, did you root for the Patriots in 2004?
Yes.
So are you fine with people beating their wives?
No.
Corey Dillon was on the Patriots, and we all cheered him, and he was an adult when he made those decisions.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like, I agree. What this guy did is indefensible. It is disgusting. It is despicable. We all agree, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we all believe that what he did from when he was 6 till he was 14, Wiggy is correct, has far more to do with the people that raised him than who he may be as an adult.
Right.
Yeah. Here is Carlo from Arlington. Hello, Carlo.
Hey, Greg, how you doing?
What's up?
Okay, so Wiggy, like you said, I'm all for second chances, but here's the thing. What Courtney's saying is what's more important here. This kid, apparently, the incident they're talking about happened at 14, but he had been doing it for years, and I believe beyond the age of 14, right? When you couple that with the fact that he hasn't shown enough remorse to the family, I heard it was like a IG message that he sent to the kid only after he started working on the contract with the Bruins was the reason why, that was basically the amount of public remorse for him.
Yeah, but they never said it happened after 14.
Yeah, okay, but what the caller's saying is he didn't apologize
All right.
until he had a chance to get a contract with the Bruins.
Okay, so
Nobody ever means their apology.
Right.
Nobody.
So is he wrong for that? Yes. But my thing is, what's his behavior like after 14? Is he still assaulting kids when he's 19, he's 18, he's 20?
I don't know,
Wiggy,
and you don't know.
He hasn't even really done the appropriate amount of response for what he did to this kid while he was bullying him. That's the problem. If he had done the work, I'd say, yeah, okay, maybe it's time for him to get a shot, but it doesn't sound like he's done it yet.
Well, based on what his agent said, who's a black agent, who sat down with him and represents him, said that he's put in a lot of work. My thing is this, and like Curtis said, it's about second chances. I come from a world where I know people that did a lot of bad things when they were younger.
Criminal?
Well, I'm just saying. And they did a lot of bad things when they were adults. They go to jail.
Pebbles.
They go to jail. They learn from the mistakes, and then they come out. They shouldn't have to come out and people go, okay, you know what you can do? You can clean toilets, but you can't be a CPA or you can't be this or you can't be that because of the mistakes that you made. But yeah, we don't have a problem with you picking up poop on the side of the road.
Okay, but Wiggy, if you are the Bruins and you put out his jersey to sell in the store,
Right.
who's buying that?
It
It's a
doesn't-
terrible bit. No, but that's what
What do you mean who's buying it?
no fan is going to support this kid. It's a bad look for the Bruins. We can agree on that, correct?
It's a bad look for the Bruins to part ways with him.
Oh.
That's the bad look because you knew, like you're Courtney, you're the one who said they knew all the information.
Right.
So they were cool with signing him.
Correct.
So what made you part ways? The pressure. It's a bad look. So now we live in a society is if you pressure people enough, if you pressure people enough, the society we live in is that, okay, that pressure leads to you now losing your job or you now being canceled.
Yeah, that's the world we live in.
Right. So, but are you cool with that? Pressuring people into cancel people?
Okay.
I'm
No,
asking.
I'm not canceling people for things like they misspeak, but canceling somebody and not giving them the biggest stage in hockey for kids to look up to. I'm sorry, you and I disagree on this, and I'm not going to change my mind on it.
So then you should be right now. You should be saying you want the Celtics to fire Joe
I
Mazzulla.
said when they
I'm
announced,
saying right now.
Okay, and I'm saying that back when they said that he was going to be the interim head coach, everybody else just glossed over the idea. I said this is a bad PR move for the Celtics. You're going to let go of Ime, and then you're going to bring in Mazzulla. And I thought they weren't even going to address it. The first press conference, thank God Brad Stevens said something. I don't think it said enough. But yeah, I thought it was a bad move
I'm
for the
saying
Celtics.
now, though,
I agree. Right now, I think it was a bad move
You
for the
think
Celtics.
the Celtics should fire Mazzulla? He shouldn't be on the sidelines coaching.
I don't think that they should have made him the interim head coach from the beginning.
But we're talking. All right, they did, but now he
Yeah,
should
so
not.
my thoughts on it have not changed.
Okay, so he shouldn't be on the sidelines.
Here is Peter from Portland. What's up, Peter?
Hi,
Hey.
hi, Greg.
What's up?
Wiggy,
Yeah.
you can't do something to a person for 8 years and not have any kind of conscience about it. I mean, sure, the parents brought him up wrong, but he still knows right from wrong. There's a difference between
So from the time,
he's not being stopped from a job; he's
So-
being stopped from a privilege.
so from the that's a job. So from the time he's 6 years old to get, because we're saying the abuse started at 6 years old. That's what they're saying. From 6 to 14, he makes those mistakes. He's doing whatever. He's bullying. He's beating up kids.
I think Peter's saying it's not a mistake for 8 years. It's a character flaw.
Well, a character flaw for a 7 and 8, 9, and 10-year-old. Where do you think he gets that flaw from?
I understand. What does that have to do with it?
What do you mean, what does that have to do
well,
with
I
it?
know a
Because
lot
he's
of
a
people,
minor. That's
Right.
why.
I know a lot of people who had bad parents and somehow were able to make themselves into good people.
So if a minor,
it happens a lot.
So
Well,
if-
Wiggy had one parent, and he's a great dad.
Yes.
But he's
Yes.
sadly the exception to the rule.
right? So if a kid grows up in a household where his dad is an abusive drunk who beats his mother, and he sees that his whole life, and then maybe he gets some of those traits when he gets older, we don't look and say, well, maybe it was the way this kid was brought up.
Of course it was,
Of
but
course.
it's still not okay that
No,
he
no,
does
no.
it.
Of
But
course,
if
but
he
here's the issue.
changes,
But
But
here's
we
the
have no
issue.
idea if that was the case for Mitchell Miller.
We have no idea, but here's the
No
issue.
idea.
Here's the issue. It's simple. Our decision now as a society is to see a bad thing and get rid of it. The bad thing is that it's never really gotten rid of unless you deal with it. So this guy and whoever else follows him We can't randomly select the outrage based on social media's concern of the day.
Right.
The Bruins head coach was fired because he was a raging alcoholic with the Stars. He's back with them now. The Celtics head coach, interim, strangled people in college, which to me is worse than anything you can do at 14. Because when you're in college, you know what you're doing, and you've had time to develop your own thoughts. If you commit a crime, you're going to jail as an adult, not a minor. And he's coaching none of these people on social media. I'm not saying you, Courtney, because you brought it up, but none of the people that are demanding that Sweeney lose his job and this guy never play in the NHL are demanding the Celtics fire their coach.